All right, we've got the recording going. So this, excuse me, this webinar is going to be a few minutes, just really talking about mindset, and more specifically, we're going to dive into the right mindset to achieve your goals. So I think this could be applied for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. You know, a job that you want, or a goal that you want to hit, or when we're saving money, like all that stuff. Mindset really does matter, and that's really what will push you over the edge, and really make you successful. So, well, this is a little bit vague. It's not like meal prepping or how much meat to eat. This is really thinking about good mindset and getting in the right frame of mind to be able to achieve your goals. All right. So when it comes to your health and wellness journey, you probably think about losing fat, gaining muscle. You think about workouts that you get in a week, all the foods that you eat and perhaps that you don't eat, water intake, and maybe even things like sleep and stress, or hopefully things like sleep and stress. Hopefully you're thinking about that. But I actually think that there's something more important that might be holding you back from reaching your goals, whether they're short term or long term. And again, this can be applied to a few different avenues of life. So we're going to talk about that. Oops, sorry, my slides are. Um, this is a really good example of what we see a lot as health coaches. And so I'll give you, obviously no names, but just an idea of something that I've seen that will help bring this a little bit a little bit more. So I was working, set the stage. I was working with a client. We were meeting, and he was not finding progress. He was hoping for a lot of progress, was only finding like little incremental change, little incremental progress. So, we would do all the things that we've been taught to do. We shift the action steps, we make a game plan, and then we follow up each week, hoping that we would see some different results. But unfortunately, we're hearing things like, well, one day I got really busy and I forgot my lunch, or I ended up grabbing pizza and then the rest of my day was downhill. Or, I guess when I think about dinner, we get sidetracked a lot on dinner. So, like, I had a great dinner, but then I had some cookies in the pantry. And when I woke up the next day, I was so upset that I had a donut for breakfast. And then I just continued in this spiral. And so he kept mentioning that he was never going to lose the weight and is going to end up even gaining more weight. So like he knew this, but then he sounded so defeated. And um, this is where mindset comes into play. So I'm sure we've all felt that way. I've certainly felt that way, where you feel like you're just kind of spiraling. Um, and again, this is super relatable. Most of us have. We have a pity party. We feel sorry for ourselves. We, again, kind of think one thing goes wrong and the rest doesn't matter, even though that's really not how it works. So, when it comes to our health and wellness journey, it's easy to get wrapped up in that all or nothing mindset. It's easy to feel that pressure to constantly strive for perfection. It's easy to only focus on the result rather than the journey. All of those things, right? We hear all these things all the time, and then if we fall short, we rebound with something else that's not a great choice as well. And again, that spiral. So this is why we're going to talk a little bit about mindset and how it can dampen your motivation and make it adherence feel nearly impossible. I always say this, our nutrition program is guided by Healthy Steps Nutrition. And their saying is, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. And that's, every client that we've worked with, we've talked about the habit based approach. So trying to build some habits, doing some habit stacking, one step at a time. All right, I'm going to read this slide because I think that there's a really good quote on here. So, in an interview, a New York City based therapist, Catherine Smirling, stated, "Shifting your mindset about how to lose weight is the biggest factor in losing weight. We can't shift our weight from the outside without realizing the correct inner resolve and intention." It's a really interesting idea, right? Let that sink in. Her quote continues, to help you visualize the idea, we need to discuss the triangle that links three domains: thoughts, feelings, sorry, my dog's in the background. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. That idea stems, I'm so sorry, you guys. That idea stems from the evidence-based treatment referred to as cognitive behavioral therapy. helps you become aware of inaccurate or negative thinking so you can view the challenging situations more clearly and respond to them in a more effective way. So, as you can see, mindset is crucial to your journey and may be a factor holding you back. If you are ready to get the mindset and your motivation up and adherence high, here are 3 great steps to follow. Step 1, establish your why. We think that this is easy, but here we go. So, before mapping out how to get somewhere, we have to understand where we are going and why it's so important. If you've been trying to lose weight, you've taken the time to ask yourself why you want to lose weight in the first place. And if you've shared that with me, I've probably asked you why 5 or 6 times to understand the real deep meaning about why you're trying to lose weight. Because usually the first answer you give me is never really the true answer. And so to help figure out why, I believe this might be in your workbook too, but list out what characteristics you value. Write down 3 characteristics you like in people you gravitate towards, and then write 3 characteristics of the person you wish to become. Let me read that again. Write down 3 characteristics you like in those people that you gravitate towards, and then write 3 characteristics of the people you wish to become. Pausing for a second, you can obviously pause this recording or video and then give yourself that time to write down those characteristics. But if you've jotted a few down in your workbook, do your list have similarities? Who you want to become and who you gravitate towards. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but worth reviewing. As you take the time to dive deeper into why, you aim to establish that strong emotional connection. So this may sound like a good example would be to be more confident in my own skin, or to be around and active in my child's life. So you should have something that has an emotional connection to you. It usually isn't, I want to fit, or I just want to look. Usually it's not, I just want to look better naked, right? It's, I want to fit into like my own personal journey when I was trying to lose weight was, I want to fit in my jeans that I wore before my son was born. But that was an emotional connection to who I was before. You peel back the layers, as an emotional connection to who I was before. So I was trying to get back to that person, even though I was never going to be that same person again. But yeah, so having that understanding and emotional connection to your goal or your why, that's what's going to help you refocus when things are not so easy, because we all run into that, right? So step 2 is goal setting. This is where we're going to take the time to set the stage to a healthier mindset by establishing goals. When we discuss goals, there are 2 types of goals. First, we need to discuss our outcome goals, or what we refer to as SMART goals. I know that we've talked about SMART goals in the gym. I know I've used them personally. These are goals you wish to achieve in a very specific time, and that motivate you, right? A SMART goal is a written goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. That's what SMART stands for: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. For example, if you say I'm going to lose 20 pounds, well, that's great, but you have no sense of urgency, you have no time frame. It's a pretty unspecific goal. So to go further, to make it SMART, we would say, losing pounds. I will lose 20 pounds in 5 months, right? And again, now you do want to be realistic about your weight loss goal, because we do say 1 to 2 pounds a week is generally the standard for losing weight. But I digress. Having something specific will help you focus your efforts by looking at the big picture, and ultimately it gives you a better chance at achieving your goal. So this would be a great time for you to pause and write down your SMART goals in your workbook if you're following along. The second type of goal is a process goal. So we talked about SMART goals or an outcome goal. Now we're talking about a process goal. And that's the things that lead you, or that will help you take the small steps towards achieving that end result of your SMART goal. So these are what we refer to as action steps, really. And they should only be the things that you can control. So we want to drive confidence through these goals. And so instead of writing like, I will not eat fast food for lunch, we shift to, I will take my lunch to work X days per week. And so instead of taking things away, you make sure that you are keeping things in so you don't feel like you're deprived. Um, and so that would be a process goal, or a way that you're going to get somewhere through an action step. So if I had 20 pounds to lose, okay, well, what am I going to do? Am I doing macros? Am I going to do a plate method? Am I going to make sure I drink enough water every day? All those things are going to be process goals or action steps. So this is where you may want to pause and jot down a few action steps that you are 100% in control of, at least 90% confident that you can be successful. So, sorry if you hear my ducks in the background. So we want to make sure that we're reframing this into a positive mindset. So instead of, I'm so sorry, my dog wants to play catch. So if you're thinking about, if you're thinking about, this statement, you want to take away the don'ts. Don't do this. Don't do that. Instead, you want to think about I will or I am, those kinds of positive statements, right? We, even as like, in the gym, I try to say, well, don't do this. I say instead, let's focus on this, right? And so you would do the same thing with your mindset goals, or excuse me, your goals, and framing them in a positive light. That way you feel more motivated by them. And then step three is going to be refocus, reframe, and recover. When things are going well, it is super easy to continue in a great mindset. Everything's peachy. It feels easy, right? But we all know that life is not a straight line from A to B. Our journey comes with twists and turns. And that's when we really need to focus on step 3, which is recover. And so, when we, this is going to be a little bit long winded because I'm going to give you an example, but we want to really think about, let's revert back to the bringing lunch X times a week. So when we, think about that as an action step, you forget, let's say one day you forget your lunch, you end up eating way too much pizza and soda at the office, and you think you messed up, and now you slip back into thinking that you failed, which can lead to, again, a further slide, snacks, treats. Might as well have a half fudge sundae for dessert, right? And then when you feel yourself slipping into that negative mindset, you really need to stop and reframe your situation. And so rather than focusing on, wow, I ate pizza and soda for lunch, what else have you been doing really well to help you refocus on the fact that you are in control and that you can come back from this? So maybe you've done a really good job of staying hydrated, or maybe you didn't, maybe you didn't make it into the gym this week, but you spent some extra time with your family, or maybe you started a new job, right? There are some things that you've done really well over the past few weeks that you can focus on to help you reframe that this one thing is not that bad and you can recover from it. All right, so we got a few more slides here. When we think about, sorry. And then sorry, that first slide, we were really just talking about overall, like stop, think about things that are really going well for you. That would be your refocus. And then, you also want to have some reflection involved in your refocusing, right? So we all have this little voice, sometimes you call it the devil and the angel on our shoulders. And sometimes it's positive and sometimes it isn't, right? Devil's negative, angel's positive. But next time you have a thought, during this negative time or during when you feel like you're slipping, one way to kind of refocus is to ask yourself, is the way I'm thinking making it easier for me to act how I want to act, be who I want to be, and feel how I want to feel? That sounds easier said than done. I realize that we all have our own demons to deal with, but while you are refocusing and reflecting on your thoughts, you can refocus your breath, right? Breathe in the positivity, exhale the negativity, And then ask yourself, what is the best thing I can do right now? All right. And then we're going to go into recovery. So this is kind of the last step of that refocus, reframe, and recover. So now we start to recover. A great way to recover from this negative self talk is to replace that with positive thought. There's a sports psychologist, her name's Wendy Swift. She gives an example of strong thought, positive replacement thought. And here's her quote: I don't have to wreck my whole day because I got caught up and didn't have time to pack lunch. Calm down. The only meal affected is lunch. I will go to the store, eat a proper portion, and carry on the rest of my day on track. The only rules for this replacement thought is to ensure that it has positive language. So it needs to be now, it needs to be positive, and it needs to be focused on something that you are going to do. And so in her quote, she said, I'm going to calm down, right? The only meal affected is lunch. That's her positive thought. I will go to the store. There's her action. Eat a proper portion. That's her action, and carry on with the rest of my day. And that's believable. And then, part of recovering is deciding if you need to adjust your goals based on your current situation that you, um, based on your current situation that you're thinking about. Do you need to adjust your goals to ensure that you're 90% confident that perhaps um, that you would bet the house on your actions? So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I'm going to get up at 5:30 and go to the gym tomorrow. If I'm not really confident, then I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, right? Because then I'm repeating the cycle. I'm not believable. I'm not really making smart goals, and then this cycle of unattainability continues. So you want to make sure that you're super confident in whatever you choose to do to recover. All right. And so we're getting close to the end here. But just this will just be a quick summary for everybody. So when it comes to mindset, it's obviously important to reach our goals. And if you don't have a positive mindset, you're going to have a pretty hard time feeling good about getting there. And you've almost set yourself up for failure. So we discussed three steps to help you start finding that best mindset. Right. The first one is establish your why. The second is proper goal setting and how to handle adversity with the 3 R's. That is, you can go back and review all these things. I really encourage you to start really small, start with, positive mindset, telling yourself believable things that you can, you will, you are. And then going from there and figuring out what some goals are, what some action steps are. As always, if you need help or if you want to dig a little deeper into this, I'm always available and would be happy to help you on your either nutrition journey or fitness journey, whatever it is that you need. Feel free to share this with friends, family, loved ones. Everyone needs some help from time to time, and there is nothing wrong with having a coach to help you get there. So that's what I've got for today. We got 20 minutes on the dot. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys need anything. Have a great rest of your night.